Look at these easels and tables on the beach over there. They call it an open-air gallery, or probably something more upscale like an al fresco galleria. They say it's a popular design in foreign cities like Paris and New York. That may be true. The appeal is clear enough, I guess. Anyone can wander in and out. There aren't any walls or doors. There's no roof either, just a kind of thin cloth membrane. Not quite a sheet or a tarp, but more like a drape of rolled out spiderweb, looking like it might bunch up and dissolve if ever it got rained on. No concern down here for rain. Everybody thinks they're inside, just because they can't see the sky. But it's a microclimate down here. It surely does rain. Right now, they're exhibiting some intimate photographs of small town life. The highlight of the show is a large print of an old man's face. The photo is titled Walker. His eyes are kind of closing, or maybe opening. Probably closing. Because of the scale of the thing, you can see all the crumbs in his beard. No, not food crumbs. Crumbs from sleeping outside. Reviews have been good. It's a popular show, probably because of its relevance. The town depicted in these photos was very recently flattened to make way for a big museum project. Is that the museum with all the houses in it? Oh yeah, and welcome back to Kentucky Route Zero. Sorry about that. I took a nap. So this is Shannon, right? The Mucky Mammoth. Hey, just a quick one here. I'm going ashore to do some mushroom hunting. This little island is my favorite spot, and I figure we are already running late. What's one more unscheduled stop? Guess that's one way to look at it. I just need to find Will and get him up here to keep an eye on things. You know, I bet he's asleep. Could you run down and wake him up for me? Bunks are down on the lower level, right next to the map room. Thanks. Tape recording of cat purring. Okay, this isn't creepy at all. Yeah, I should go. Okay, so I have to go this way? Looks like everybody's down here. I wonder where Conway is. And there's Will. Will snores softly. A recorded lecture plays from a tape machine next to Will's bunk. Lecturer, and even hinted that he had in mind a design for this device, as recorded in the diary and sundry observations. Reading. Why should personalities in another existence or sphere waste their time working a little triangular piece of wood over a board with certain lettering on it? The whole business seems so childish to me. If we are to make any real progress in psychic investigation, we must do it with scientific apparatus. Again, for Edison, a technical solution to every problem. He goes on to suggest the parameters of the apparatus. And yes, a question in the back. James? Student, indistinguishable. Yes, this idea of personalities lingering after death does appear to be in conflict with Edison's theories about what he called life units, the subatomic entities that animate matter and then scatter to other configurations when a person passes on. But given Edison's emphasis on memory and cognition, remember, we're talking about the inventor of the phonograph, and his colorful description of the swarm of interchangeable drone-like, Edison even uses the word proletarian. I think that's right. Yeah, proletarian. Life units animating the human mind. His theory naturally posits that any individual life unit possesses on its own some fragment of memory. So according to Edison, when life units recombine from, say, a soldier into, say, a flower, we may be able, using some apparatus, to coax out from the flower memories of a war. The tape stops. Will wakes up. Well, hello, small man. You caught me in my pre-dawn nap. I try to sleep in little nibbles when I can. It maximizes my time in threshold states. What were you listening to? Well, I used to work at a university, and I'd always eavesdrop on lecturers through the ventilation system. What? Anything and everything. I'm a polymath by nature. An old friend recently found this box of tape-recorded lectures next to the dumpster there, and passed them on in the spirit of fondly recalling better days. This one is... Will looks at the label on the tape. Reading. History of the Philosophy of Death. Yikes. I play these old taped lectures during my little nibble naps to absorb the information more easily. It's pretty effective. I wish I could do everything half asleep. Ain't that the truth? Can't say I learned very much just now, though. I may have been too busy dreaming. A vivid narcotic fantasia aboard the... But those are always the quickest to dissipate. I'd better tell you about it now before the spell is broken. Will takes a deep breath, focusing on the task of recalling his dream. I was small, not a child, an animal maybe. I patrolled the corridors of a great iron ship, searching for scrapes and mice, I think, and crying. Always a weak and mournful mew. Other crewmen slumped in odd corners or lay drunk on the deck. The hall smelled of shame, defeat, and rot-gut corn whiskey. They dumped artillery into the water, tore their flags into cloth scraps, and made handkerchiefs to bury their sobbing faces. They drifted on Lake Leith, drinking the cold, black water and eating eyeless fish raw. When they at last ran out of cooking fuel, they seemed, in their despair, to forget even language. After an interval of years, the ship crossed a threshold into absolute silence. Silence, except for my hopeless, whimpering cry. Anyway, that's all I remember. Sorry you had a bad dream. Oh no, not bad. Unsettling. Puzzling. But thanks for your concern, Doc. Well, I've got a stew to start. You may want to hurry back above deck. I believe we're about to pass the bat sanctuary. It's quite a thing to see. Oh, Lord. Kate came back from her mushroom hunting excursion with a small basket full of oddly colored caps and stems, no doubt delicious to a morsel. Of course, she intended to use many of them in her medical practice to ease the pain, nausea, and anxiety of pregnant women, but I can usually rely on my charms to snare a bite or two. I have no preferences when it comes to mushrooms, by which I mean that I treat them all interchangeably. I prefer not to know their names or qualities before I cook them up and eat them. It's useless after all. They escape your erudition, as the fella says. That's a good mushroom hunting island, I guess. It's plenty damp, and they've got the cypress trees there to grow on. Of course they're not indigenous. Cypress trees, I mean. Everyone down here seems to agree that they were planted on some kind of marker or memorial, and most people will tell you that they got a distant relation or acquaintance who helped dig a hole or water a seedling. But somebody remembers what it was all for. Oh, but nobody remembers what it was all for, and nobody left a plaque or anything. It's a shame. Looked like it must have been a lot of work. Well, at least we have the trees. And the mushrooms. You know, I think you might want to be careful about what mushrooms you're picking. I'm pretty sure some of them are poisonous, but whatever. Shannon and her friend set out in a dinghy to deliver a package at the telephone exchange. Act 4, Scene 7. Echo River Central Exchange. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as a tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the bats. I usually send Will, but I thought you'd like the chance to meet Dashiell. He's the guy who worked at the TV station, WEVP. So, you'll pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for, cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the bat sanctuary. His package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. Oh god, Poppy. She's gonna be weird like Poppy on YouTube. Oh god. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in, just before the bat sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really, sort of, I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye. Oh great, this is gonna get weird, isn't it? Oh great, I have the option to cut my lights on and off. Oh, this is gonna be fun. What is that? Kind of reminds me of the Blair Witch symbol. We claim these helmets in the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we never will find. And so we guess the water buried them for us, so let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Hey, Elkhorn. That's the mine we met in, where your folks, worked. Looks like it's been here for a while. I sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote it is still that angry? I don't think you ever forget anger like that. No, I guess you probably don't. This probably stirs up. I mean, how do you... It's fine. I'm glad this is here. People should remember this happened. Well, here we are, remembering. And I didn't even know it the first time around, but here I am remembering it now. That's a fine memorial, I guess. I am a little curious about what would happen if you took one of the helmets. And I have the volume turned down so I can't hear anything if certain things are going on. What the oh shit, that almost scared the fuck out of me. Oh god. Wait, are those people from the distillery? Then they're not there. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Just... Are you feeling okay? Oh, sure. It doesn't hurt anymore, my leg. It's kind of numb. Like it's not there. My shoulder too, actually. That's an old one, though. From an accident. I'm lucky I just had some nerve damage there. Probably should have been a lot worse. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could have even helped me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know. Get it all together on a plan. Consolidate it. What? When did you talk to them about that? Oh, they're around. They're pretty much everywhere you look on this river. You really haven't noticed? Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even this delivery? Yeah, we're almost there, right? Hell, at this point, I bet we could just take off the parking brake and that truck would roll into a 5-dog drive by itself. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Lysette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, but somehow Lyse got it into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did, or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for Lysette's husband. So he's not Lysette's husband? Ira's Lysette's husband. Okay. So Charlie was Ira and Lysette's son. Okay. Okay. So then why was he with Lysette then? Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery, and now that the antique shop is closing up, I've got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. I barely know you. Hell, I barely know anyone. It's not like I'm going to give this truck to my damn brother or something. I don't even know how to get a hold of him these days. Well, just think about it anyway. You'd be doing me a favor, you know? One less thing to deal with. So you just gonna get rid of somebody else's truck. Cool. Visitors to the Echo River stern-faced red bat artificial hibernacaloon and sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The stern-faced red bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light sources, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax. Stop your vehicle and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Okay. So does that mean I need to cut the lights off now? Bat wings rustle. Bat fact. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take in comeback, differences of just millionths of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking anyway, even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. I think when they're actually communicating, it sounds more like singing. I'd like to hear that. Do I need to put this light off now? Oh no. Okay. Damn, it's really dark down here. Are you still there? Shannon touches Conway's shoulder. Oh, there you are. I hope that's you. I was just thinking about my ma. I guess because we were talking about your folks a minute ago. To be honest with you, I don't think about her that often. Your cousin brought her up earlier, and she's just been on my mind. It's good your folks have a memorial. A lot of people. Nobody remembers them when they're gone. You mean like your mom? Oh no, she would have hated that. I don't know what I mean. Bat fact. The stern-faced red bat's natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here are the artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary. We use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, which we call the little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects the stern-faced red bat would have been eating are very much relieved. Oh God. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects the stern-faced red bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so. We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the stern-faced red bat normally hunts to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Echo River, the shore of Lake Leith. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, we collect the precious guano here at the hibernaculum and manually distribute throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. It's all fake, except for the bats. Yeah, I guess so. Reminds me of that guy Donald and his crew down there with the computer. It kind of bothers me. Like they're tricking the bats. I honestly don't give a shit because they're bats, but you know, whatever. Yeah, in this case, I think it's about survival. I mean, if that's the bottom line, what's the difference? Like the folks in the mine, you said they used to buy stuff, fans, canneries, all those little trinkets to make it bearable. Or was that canaries? There's still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered, but human. I just mean, all people need is enough to pretend we're home, and we can make it anywhere. You get kind of philosophical when you're drinking. Did anyone ever tell you that? Yeah, I guess I do. No, this is nothing. I used to have this drinking buddy who would get loaded and tell the weirdest damn riddles, like, which is more musical, a truck passing by a factory or a truck passing by a musical school? Huh, count your blessings. What type of tree is that? Bat sounds intensify. Better hang on a minute. It feels like there's one kind of hovering right over me. They don't really hover though, do they? I mean, how could they? I guess a lightning bug will hover by beating its wings really fast. Maybe they can do that too. I used to watch lightning bugs in the evening out at the edge of the woods. Lysette's kid Charlie, he loved them, you know. He ended up going to college and studying astronomy. And I'd like to think he got his love for stars from those nights watching bugs. Anyway, me and Charlie, sometimes we try to see one of them up close. You lay in the grass and you have to be totally still for a while. Like one of those wax sculptures. Don't even breathe. Like this. Oh, you can't see me. I was doing the watching lightning bugs in the grass face. Feels like we're talking on the phone or something. Hey, who were you talking to earlier? When we met in the mine, you were on the phone with someone. I forgot about that. Ooh, my ex or just a friend? My ex. Alejandra. We met in school, and we're still pretty close. She has kids now, so we don't talk as much. I was just venting on the phone about my landlord situation. She didn't really have time for it, busy doing other things. It gets harder and harder to reconnect. Yeah, I know that's true. That's very true. I have a lot of people I went to school with, and I don't talk to them pretty much now because, I just don't have the time. And it gets harder as the years pass by. Everybody has a family and everybody has a life. So, yeah. Definitely understand that. Bats be gone. White nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth which appears on bats' faces and wings irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly, and it's highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparison to colony collapse disorder, as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the stern-faced redbat be two more lost species, wiped out in geological blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time, so the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River stern-faced redbat hibernaculum and sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. What? Also, let's cut that light off for a second. Lysette's sick. I know. She's old. We're both old. Hell, you're about the youngest person I know right now. Oh, and the kid, maybe blue, by a people calendar. In dog years, though, I bet she has us all beat. So I'm old, too. Sure, I forget stuff all the time, especially if I had a few and my brain is swimming. But Lice, it's all going away. She's losing words you'd never think you'd lose. Not just like the street she grew up on, but the names of colors and types of furniture. Or, even the word furniture. She'd say, we still got a few nice pieces in the, what's that I call the shed where we put the bigger pieces, the beds and couches, and I'd say, oh, Lice, why do you keep teasing me about that time I fell asleep in the furniture shed when it's so damn comfortable in there? I tried to help her keep some dignity, you know. That's all I had to offer. At the end, she had a sister in Nashville who will take good care of her. And now that I'm not around the shop all the time, what was that old guy's name used to make deliveries for the shop? He smells like leather. Ira was always yelling at him. Too. Oh. Too drunk to work on the one day he could have been in the right place at the right time. She means a lot to you. Are you worried about losing her? You know, it's inevitable. At this age, people are going all the time. Friends, family, everyone. It's natural. I don't wish she'd live forever, just that she keeps some dignity as she goes. I think that's the best we can wish for anyone we care about. That's true. Okay, I think the bats are clearing out. Yeah, because I mean, you don't want to see anybody in pain, and you don't want to see anybody suffering, so. I guess you would just rather it end as opposed to seeing somebody in pain, constantly living in pain. What does it say? Oh, Central Exchange. What the hell? And we're just gonna continue to get weird. Great. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. You too. Try not to make any more bad deals while I'm gone. Haha. I'll just be floating along down here. I just mean keep your eyes open. And don't look back. Dashel. No, oh crap. I keep forgetting I'm using the controller. Oh hi, I remember you. What are you doing down here? I'm just exploring. I like dark underground places. I'm a romantic. How in the hell is that romantic? I think I'm more classical myself. No. Really, what does that mean to you? It means I like poems and rivers and mysteries. Okay, bye. Okay. Dashel, softly. Could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. Are you Dashel Morse? Like Morse code. I mean me? Yes, I'm him. Sorry, I've been hacking on this thing all night. My thoughts are starting to come in alternating currents. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jacket. I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself. I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid, for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true. They had bats then, too, but they were considered a nuisance. A train station? What happened to it? Well, the river shifted and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime, running telephone wires behind enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. I miss that, actually. They were easier to climb. It's just as well. I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up the wiring in the crystal room for WEVP folks. Oh, shit. Did you ever know a girl named Weaver? Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny. I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all that gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything. Just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. Okay. Plaque. Abel and Eloise, the lovers' couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft, but old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of the pockets and deliver them to other people nearby, to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation, and that's where we left them. Okay. I guess that's weirdly romantic or something. And Poppy. I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy. Is Poppy still a thing now I think about it? Just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does that parcel claim to be from? Reading label. Consolidated Power Company, sure. Oh dear, I'm afraid to open it. So who are you? Do you work for the post office? Or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? Yeah, I just met Dashel. He's been working on that obsolete ringer, hasn't he? Poor Dashel. You know, he's not really... He was let go a while back. A long while, actually. When they started restructuring, he was one of the first to go. But he talked them into letting him come every day and fiddle with some interminable projects. He says it's to keep a long gap from growing his resume, but I think he just has nothing better to do. One of those old men who needs to work, you know? Doesn't know how to be any other way. Well, there are no real jobs here, but there are fake jobs, I guess. Yeah, I've worked with people like that. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Meg, Kara, Mary, Louise, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Mary finished college, and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming. And I hear she did just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Jaina, and Sachiko, which brought us up to 13. And that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing, and they started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Louise left one Friday evening, and were asking not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment as a private PBX. PBX? What the hell? They had Jaina and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices documents instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie and I think was checking residential meters. Sachiko and Wilma were moved into energy cells, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak, and I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping from a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, and I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. Sounded pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm impressed. So where was I? Hot honey broth and warm salt water. Right. And a healthy dose of slippery elm. I got that one from Kate. So after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. If it's automated, what do you do here? It's not fully automated. There's still gaps in the functionality that needs a human touch. And you know, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching, even on the phone. And that's an electric touch, an intimate little shock. Oh, sorry. An intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays, but then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades around the specific tempo of its human operators. So, short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they'd have to work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that, officially, is my role here. I run the switchboards for the whole exchange. Once the work of 12, I'd like to remind you, they have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial. My little indicator light switches on, and I make the connection. Do you miss talking to callers? You know, there's something that bothers me about the process, besides the fact that I'm training my replacement, who isn't even human. Here's what I mean. How long do you think it should take to time my every move and recreate the timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. Oh, Lord, I don't know, lady. Maybe a week? That's what I said. But this has been going on for over a year, and a very dark thought has started to nag at me. What if there's no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? Why don't you just quit? In this economy? No, you're probably right. Working in silence for peanut shells, waiting to be replaced by a robot, it doesn't sound very dignified, does it? The reality is that I've been working here my whole adult life. I came here as a girl, and I'll leave as a middle-aged woman. I don't know if I'm ready to be her yet. I mean, look, sometimes you have to get another job or something. I mean, that was kind of the case with me and my last job. I kind of saw what was going on at the place. I didn't like it, so I was like, well, screw it. I went and found another job. Turned out to be a better job. And things are different at the old job. But yeah, it's safe to say I made the right decision. So why didn't she just leave when she started seeing everything going bad? I mean, I can kind of get it, but if everybody's leaving and you just gonna stay there like I guess things are gonna get better, it's not. I sound like Dashiell. Oh, the parcel. Right over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. I won't have a choice, cause look, okay. What the hell? When did Blue get down here? Oh, Blue was at the front of the boat. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there and we'll pick this up in the next episode. Thank you for watching. See ya.